My name is Charles Coachman, and this is called Bay Area Let's Talk. Let's talk. I am a Bay Area native born, have lived here for 60 plus years, and I just wanted to share some points, and I wanted to do this at least once a day. Now, I currently have a couple of different shows going on. Early in the morning, I have a little Bible show going on where I discuss, where we're just reading through Proverbs, and then some New Testament study. Anyway, and I'm also a realtor, but I wanted to share kind of what's going on in the Bay Area from just the everyday guy's point of view. Like I said, I was born and raised here. Have Midwest roots. Really, my family's from Oklahoma and Missouri. Now, we were helped to Oklahoma by the U.S. government because I'm a Native American, and that's part of my history, my family history. But this just being born and raised in the Bay Area probably gives me a little bit different perspective than a lot of folks that I've met over the many years. I grew up out in the East Bay and then actually moved to the Santa Cruz Mountains for a couple of years and then moved into the South Bay down into San Jose, where I've been for a little over 30 years. Pushing 40 years. So we're getting close there. So I like to start out my shows by wishing people happy birthday. And it looks like I've got a little bit of a mistake. I'm going to clean that up here real quickly. And then let's show that again. Okay. So I've got some birthday shout outs. Gary Taylor, who is the husband of a friend of mine, Lisa Taylor. Well, I knew her as Lisa Gonzalez, but Gary and I had a chance to meet earlier in the summer, at the end of summer, I believe. And it was really nice being able to meet him. We just spent, I think, about a half hour together. So it was just enough time to just say hi and get to learn a little bit about each other. But it was very nice to meet Gary. And great to see Lisa after nearly 40 years. So things are, obviously, people change, and but one of the nicest people I've ever got to meet, and she married a terrific man. So Gary, happy birthday to you. Now the next person's Kevin Carlson. Kevin is missionary, and my wife and I have supported him over the years, and Kevin is a terrific fellow. He is down in South America. I believe he's still in South America, and he is doing what he loves, and that's awesome. Dwayne Gomer is a real estate teacher, instructor, course writer. He helps people get their real estate businesses off the ground and then keeps them going and helps them to advance. So Dwayne Gomer, happy birthday to you. Next one is a young lady that I have known for the last 13, 14 years. And that is Lauren Grislin. And she is the daughter of the owners of the company that I work with. So Lauren, happy birthday to you. I don't know if I can call you kid anymore, but you are. Anyway, happy birthday, young lady. And then Rowena Patton, she is another real estate person. She had been in real estate sales. She had run her own team, and she is a real estate investor all across the U.S. So Rowena, happy birthday. And happy birthday to each one of you. And if it's your birthday out there, happy birthday to you. Hey, we run on a platform called StreamYard. And so I just We'll put that up there. We are powered by StreamYard. It's a great system, and it has helped us immensely in being able to get our word out there. So thank you to the good folks at StreamYard. And if you are looking for a place to do a show, that would be one of the places that I would say you need to hook up with StreamYard. And then there's a couple of other ones that are very, very important. GrowLiveAcademy.com, there's StreamYard.com, and Hippo Video. All three of them. Ken Walls is the founder and creator of the Grow Live Academy that's helped a lot of us put our shows together. And Ken is a fantastic guy, and this Grow Live Academy is an excellent place to go. I've already mentioned StreamYard, and Hippo Video is something that we use, that I am currently using to reach out to clients, to old friends, to relatives, so I can send them a video message. And it's an awesome system. And there's plenty of other things that we're doing here also. So what I wanted this show to actually be about was talking about things that are going on in the Bay Area. Whether it's sports, weather. Hey, we finally got some rain. Thank God for that. We finally got some rain. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. One of the things that we're dealing with right now in San Jose is coronavirus outbreak. The coronavirus outbreak in San Jose at the Kaiser Hospital. Turns out that a person was deciding to give everyone a big kick on Christmas and put on a costume with an air inflatable costume, and unknowing to this person, they had coronavirus and apparently spread it out. Now, 40 people have been infected. At least 40 people have been infected, and one person has died. What do you say? There is nothing that you can say. Maybe not wear a costume that's blowing air all around, because you never know who's got coronavirus. And unfortunately, this person did, trying to spread a little joy and happiness, and instead spread coronavirus. Now, I have some friends that work in that hospital, and so I am just praying that none of them were on duty at that time. I hope that they were all fine. This coronavirus is a nasty deal. I have been holed up in my home pretty much since the middle of March. I have taken a few rides out of town. One to help my son as he was having surgery, and a couple to go up and just see some family that were elderly, knowing that I had taken tests and I was in good shape, or else I wouldn't have done it, but I did. We have been pretty much locked down. I am 62 years old, a bigger fella, and have a couple of comorbidities, so I don't want to take a chance, but then I also don't want to be locked in my house for 9 months, a year, whatever it is. But this is a serious deal. Here we have got a person that has just, again, like I said, trying to spread a little Christmas joy, a little holiday spirit. unfortunately had coronavirus in a hospital where they're protecting you from coronavirus and trying to help you live through it. And here more people are infected. Hey, I just read something in the Mercury News. California losing population. High taxes. Better places for businesses to go to. And there's a couple stories about that in the Mercury News today, and I'm going to hit one in just a minute. But what is California going to do? We are at negative population growth. So we're going to lose some congressional seats, maybe one or two, because we're not growing. We have stopped growing. And we need to make sure that we have everybody on our roles when it comes to taking count of all the people that live in California. So here we have, let's see what he's saying. End of 170 years of population growth. Declining student enrollments. So we just took our census. And I don't know how it's going to be handled. Were we counting citizens that were not here legally? Were those going to be counted? Or are we wiping those away like they don't exist? We need to make sure that we're doing the right things. We need to make sure that we're doing things in a way that is fair for everybody that calls the Bay Area home or for California home. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to be controversial. I just say that we need to figure out a way that we are going to get people that have been here for decades onto our rolls. We can't have people here that our government, our federal government, say they don't exist. And where our state government is giving a lot of money away and a lot of help away, a lot of the medical services that we need to deal with. These people need to be counted. How do we get them going to become legal citizens? We have got to get that set up. Our federal government has to get that lined up for us. We've got to get that figured out. Again, I want to just put my information out there. Again, I'm Charles Coachman. Got my cell phone that you can email me or text me. You can email me at bayarealetstalk@gmail.com, and I'll get back with you. And if people are ever ready to come on the show and talk, and you're all set up to do that, I can invite you on the show. Some of the things that I will be doing is inviting people from different businesses on the show. I want to get a little local atmosphere and talk about that. But this is available. If you want to reach out, if you got a comment, go ahead. Make a comment for me, and we will talk. So one of the things, we've got the census coming out. We've got to get this, we've got to get everything taken care of. We're losing businesses. We know that. We had one that I'm going to speak about in just a minute that just left for Texas. So I just was listening to a report earlier today, and it said that The 3 states that people are moving to: Arizona, I believe Nevada, Arizona, and Texas. And 2 of those states do not have income tax, do not have state income tax. And they are more business friendly than California. We've got to figure this out. We've got to figure out how we can help our companies grow their profits and take care of our citizens. I mean, this is, yes, we have always been a country that's believed in a company making their profits, making their fair profits, and we want to continue to do that. But like in San Jose, we are very, very restrictive, and in the Bay Area and California, we are very, very restrictive for what our companies can do. And I believe that we're going to see more companies leave, just like Elon Musk just did with Tesla. And who knows how much more of his business is going to be leaving California, heading to Texas or heading into other states that are more business friendly. Not everything that Tesla does is about having engineers. A lot of it is, but you have an awful lot of workers tied in with Tesla too. And they have good, high-paying jobs that are leaving because we are not making the changes that we need to make. We are not seeing the changing economy. Now, I do believe that we need, as a state and as our country, we need to have a safety net for people that aren't making it in our nation, in our states, in our cities. We need to be able to help those folks. We don't need to support them 100%. There may be some that we need to give them a great amount of income to try and help them to live. But we've got to let our companies also do some great works. And we've always been a state that has allowed companies to grow. But now for the last 40 years, we've been thinking about ways that we can tax these companies more and more and make it more difficult on them. Companies are starting to wake up. Companies are seeing that, you know what, we can't do certain things here in California. It's going to make it tough. Now, we've heard Gavin Newsom talk about how he's going to make some changes and companies are going to have to pay more, or we're going to tax them even after they've left. Even with regular citizens, we want to try and tax them after they've moved away from California. Well, if you're being paid from California, you're going to get California taxes. That's always been the way. That's just the way it is. But we want to try and keep an eye on that. We want to do the best that we can. So we've got to be good partners with our business community. I mean, that's what this state's been all about. Being good partners. And we've lost that. Over the last half century, we've lost that. So we're going to have to start making some things up. We're going to have to change some of our rules. We're going to have to be a little bit friendlier with our companies. Because Hollywood's not going to be able to pay for everything. And if we make it so difficult on these high-tech companies, that's going to be a little rough. And we know that sooner or later, the social media companies are going to get hit. And so their businesses are going to be a little bit tougher. And we'll see. But one of the other things that I saw today in the Mercury News is that, hey, I'm a realtor. Bay Area home sales and prices look like they're coming up in 2021. Well, surprise, surprise, even in 2020 with a full-blown pandemic, they haven't went down in the Bay Area. They haven't grown wildly, but I would say 10% growth on a home with your value going up by 10%. If you've got $1 million home in San Jose, home's median price is approximately 1.25. And I believe in the Bay Area, all of the Bay Area, it's about $780,000, $800,000 as a median price. So if your value of your home goes up by 10% on an $800,000 home, that's $80,000. That's more than most jobs pay. So just having your property, having your home has made you $80,000. Hey, that's great news. But from my perspective, I've been doing this now 13, 14 years. I can't see them continuing to rise. I think we have to have some leveling off. But right now, it's a great time. It's a great time to either buy or sell. Sellers, it is still a seller's market. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Because of the pandemic, we've had less people willing to sell. And that's kept our inventories low because they don't want to try and do anything during the pandemic. They want to stay safe. But we've got pent-up buyer demand. So that is going to drive a lot of what happens in the Bay Area. So we have to take a really good look at that. And hey, one of the other things I am about is I love my sports and my music. Here, our football team, the team that I love, even though I've had some real differences of opinion with some of the things that have happened over the last few years. 49ers ended on a low note last February, and ended on a low note this January. And who knows what's going to happen with the 49ers. The Raiders, they're gone. They are gone now. They're down in Las Vegas. So no need to talk about it. But we do have sports. Here we had Steph Curry throw up 62 points last night. 62 points against the Trailblazers. How amazing is that? This is a guy that a lot of people have written off. He'll never be the same. Well, you know what? That man can shoot. He can hit free throws at a 95% clip, 95 or better. He can hit three-pointers at about a 30 to 40% clip. And 62 points. Imagine that from this little fella, that his career was nearly finished. And here he is out there doing it. Now, the Warriors aren't the team they were a couple years ago. They're still in a rebuilding mode. But let's see what happens with them. I'm not a big basketball fan. I got on the bandwagon and rode it hard for a few years there, but I've had some differences with them. And hey, a lot of people are hurt that they moved to San Francisco. I think a lot of the Coliseum workers and stuff were pretty hurt that they were able to leave. But hey, this is business. This is big business. And now the Chase Center is one of those, just a sparkling gem over in the city. A great venue. A great venue to take advantage of. So there we go with our basketball spill. We've got soccer will come back around, but then we have baseball. Now, I'm an A's fan. But when I was a little boy, I was more of a Giants fan because the A's were in Kansas City until I was about 9 years old. And from the first time that I went to an A's game, I have loved the A's. And the A's mean a lot. I mean, we had the Giants win every other year here in the 2000s. I think it was 2010, 2012, and 2014. But in the 70s, the A's went to 3 straight World Series and won them all. Won them all. Now, that's when I was a kid. I was 13 when they won their first one and pushing 16 when won their last. And I love my A's. And I have, I just think they're one of the greatest teams with the smallest budget around. And I'm hoping at some point someone will pour some money into them and we'll end up getting some of their players, being able to keep some of the players. And not just being a farm team for the Yankees or some of the other big teams. And then the Giants. Who knows what's going to happen with the Giants? They had just a weird season this last year because of the pandemic. A tough, terrible season. Had some bright spots, but not a lot of them. But who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen this next year? And then one of the other things that I like to talk about, and I would be glad to share with anyone that would like to talk about it, is music. So I was born in 1959. So I heard some awesome music here in the Bay Area as I was growing up. Now, I'd listen to all sorts of music, whether it was the latest pop music on KFRC along with the rock and roll. I listened to Crack Corral, KRAC. I listened to Keen, KEEN. Listen to KSFO. Listen to KSAN. With those deep voices talking about the rock and roll that we're going to play. There was a lot of great music here in the Bay Area. There is nothing that that lights me up more than the music. Santana turned into Journey. Not Santana himself, but a couple of the young players moved over to and formed their own band. That became Journey. Look at Huey Lewis and the News. Antioch High School had Clover play at one of their dances. Clover was a band that Huey Lewis was a part of, that he had joined up with. And his band, that band, Huey, formed the News later on. Creedence Clearwater. I had a friend when I was growing up, his father had a bar. And he says, this group is in there playing as another name. And I believe he said they were the Gollywogs. And sure enough, Creedence Clearwater, what an awesome band. What terrific music we had here. Country Joe and the Fish, Hot Tuna, Jefferson Airplane, The Grateful Dead. One of my favorites. One of my favorites put out a little album with a country theme on it. And I just loved it. There was so much good music that came out of this area. And it's still being created. But we had bands back in the 60s that were just incredible. Just incredible. You know, think about it. We had the Tubes. We had all these small bands, Pearl Harbor and the Explosions. We had some great, great bands. And the group that I can't think of right now, and it's on the tip of my tongue, but their album that they had put out was called Happy Trails. One of the many albums that they had put out was called Happy Trails. And they were just awesome. They did Who Do You Love, a version of Who Do You Love that spread into a whole side of an album. Just amazing. All the music that we had. What kind of memories do you have of the music here in the Bay Area? Of the bands that came out of here? I had a lot of friends that have formed their own bands and been part of bands over the years. Some famous, some not so famous, and some are still out there playing. Not right now, unless they're doing some little gigs at their homes and everybody's on a camera. But hey, this place inspired a lot of music. I grew up out in Antioch for part of my life, and there we were at the Antioch Fairgrounds. We had some awesome groups show up there. We had them down in downtown Antioch. It was just awesome. Awesome. Lynyrd Skynyrd actually played at the Antioch Fairgrounds. Lynyrd Skynyrd. The next year, you couldn't even get in to see him, as they were touring the world with The Who, I believe. And then their finish was, for us, was a concert, Day on the Green, because we had Bill Graham putting on just spectacular shows. Day on the Green with Lynyrd Skynyrd and Peter Frampton. And unfortunately, the last show that they did here, a few months later, they were gone. Or not the same, with the death of Ronnie Van Zant. But we have been blessed to live in the Bay Area. Here, my wife and I drive over to Santa Cruz and enjoy music over there. Free music on Friday nights. We got Boss Skaggs. We have so many bands that we've been able to enjoy. And so if you are interested in talking about any of those things, I'm going to be here most every day at around 3 o'clock and just trying to reach out and sharing. And if you have some friends that might be interested in this, let's get together and let's talk about this. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in music. And I have got just a couple of different lists. On this date, January 4th, 1954, Elvis Presley came in and paid $4 to record a 10-inch demo at Memphis Recording Service. 1959, Ritchie Valens on this date, La Bamba made the Hot 100. In 1962, the Beatles in Mersey Beat were named the top band in Great Britain. Number 2 was Jerry and the Pacemakers. And that reminds me that Jerry Marsden just passed away. Passed away yesterday, I believe, or Saturday. And then in 1970 on this date, the Who's drummer, Keith Moon, accidentally ran over his limo driver and he was killed when a mob rushed him. In 1974, on January 4th, Marvin Gaye played at the Oakland Coliseum Arena and recorded his album Marvin Gaye Live. 1975, Elton John. His recording of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds hit the top 10 and became number 1. The Beatles never released it as a single. And John Lennon played on that record. 1977, as things were changing, the Sex Pistols boarded an airplane out of Heathrow and got as obnoxious as anyone could do and become. And they decided to puke and hack all over people on that flight. Folks said it was pretty disgusting. In 1986, Phil Lynott, Thin Lizzy, the guy that sang The Boys Are Back in Town and had a great career, died on this date in 1986. Ray Davies in 2004 was shot in the leg. 2011, Jerry Rafferty. You might remember him from Stealers Will and their hit Stuck in the Middle with You. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. And then he also recorded Baker Street and Right Down the Line. Robert Stigwood, who managed Cream and the Bee Gees, made the movie Saturday Night Fever in Greece, passed away on this date in 2016. Yes released Roundabout, their album, in 1972. 1969, Jimi Hendrix was banned from the BBC. When he played Stone Free. They made it free, all right. They made it free for him to never come back. And then on 1967, on this date, my favorite rock band, my favorite American rock band, because I'm a Beatles fan and a Stones fan and a Zeppelin fan, but my favorite American rock band was The Doors. And I love The Doors. And on this date in 1967, their initial album was released, The Doors. And Light My Fire. Light My Fire. That was awesome. So, if you would like to take part in this and you would like to talk about different things that are going on in the Bay Area. What changes you would like to see? The change that we are seeing. Go ahead and send me an email. If you would like to join me on the show, send me an email and I'd be glad to talk with you about it. We'd just have to go live. But anyway, this is Charles Coachman, and I have got Bay Area Let's Talk, and I would love to have you join me. So I look forward to seeing you again. I will be back tomorrow, and I hope that you will. If you are listening to this, please go and share it out. Sharing is caring, and that will help us to grow this show if it's worth growing. And for myself, I love to talk about music. I love to talk about what's going on in our area, and I'd sure love to be able to have conversations with other people in our area. Now, I plan to keep business down to a minimum, but if there is something that you want to know about live streaming or anything else that goes into putting this, would like to talk with you about that too, and introduce you to the people that are running of the other companies that help us do this and put messages out live streaming. Anyway, have a great day. I'd like to see you again. Like for you to join me. And if you've got any questions, let's talk. Bay Area, let's talk. Bay Area, have a great night. Bye.